Hi, I'm Ken, just like you. I am a modern astronomer. This is my series on how to use Pixinsight. In session one, I showed you settings, how to have some folder structure that you would always use that makes things a lot simpler, how to turn on the GPUs on your Pixinsight that are not on by default, how to set up your icons over here. So a few things that I want to show you. Session two, I showed you Blink on how to find bad subframes. And then, like I said, in session one, I was showing you how to get your process icons all set up. This also is pre-processing. This is session three. We're going to show you how to use weighted batch balance. So let's get started. So you're going to click on Script, Batch Processing, Weighted Batch Processing. That'll open up. I want to show you a couple settings on it that are important to know. Let's start with where we're at. So see where it says Compact GUI GUI. You don't want that. This is the one that you want. So don't check that. If you do check it, don't worry, you can uncheck it. Detect masters from path. Yes, you want that on always. Generate rejection maps. I turn that off. What that is if you've seen some videos or if you've used Pixinsight, and it'll open up your image when you hit the master, it'll open it up 3 different times. It'll show you rejection low, rejection high, and then the actual image. Well, if that's checked, that's when you have to open up the rejection low and rejection high. I don't care about them, so let's get rid of them. I do not preserve my white balance. I played with this. I have not seen anything different with it on or off, so I just leave it off. I do save on groups on exit, and today you'll get a good lesson on why you want that on, and I do not do smart naming override. I cleared my, purged my cache a little bit earlier, so that's why it's cleared. So I do not use a bias at all. I have an ASI 2600. I've never felt the need for bias. I do use a dark, and as you see, none's loaded. I do use flats, and of course, we're going to do lights. So let's go ahead and load our dark. My darks, if you remember in session one, I have everything in C sharp cap. See if I can say that 3 times fast. So there's my dark folder. I have 2 telescopes. I'm going to use this image that I did is at 300. So I'm going to use that. The image that we are going to use actually was at 380 gain, so I had to make it dark for this one. So let's go ahead and load that. Now flats. The image that I took, same thing, we're going to go to sharp cap. This time we're going to go to flats. The image that we're going to be working with, I used a filter. So I used an HA and SI filter, plus I have a couple different masters that I could work with. I like this one the most, this one that I did on October 24th. That's a little lighter, so I'm going to use those 3. All right, so now I will have a master flat for each lights that I'm going to use. So now if I go down to lights, I'm going to go back to sharp cap. The image that we're going to use is M33. As you see, I've taken quite a few images through different dates of M23. I've never been happy with it. I always feel it's a very blurry, not well-defined galaxy. So I think I did a little bit better this time. So this is my sessions that I did on October 25th. The times that you see here is what I brought it from the little Nook computer that I control my telescope with. I'm going to open up all the raw frames. So I'm going to take those 5 raw frames. If you remember, we went through Blink and we looked at all of those. Now I'm going to add in the next set. This, if I remember right, yeah, there was only 2. There was something wrong with those. I don't remember what they are. These are going to be my first ones that are with the C2 filter. The C2 filter being the Askar Color Magic filter. There's the box right there. I think I paid $180 for it. So notice the first thing, put the ones without a filter here, put the ones with a filter there. Each one were 5 minutes long. Now let's add in our other filter. Same thing, I do my raw frames. Control A, put those in. Now we have 26 on the C1 filter, 26 on the C2 filter, and I have 5 on the filter with out one, but I did take more colors, so I'm going to add those in as well. If you remember when I did the looking at them through blank, if I remember right, it was from 20 down were bad. So actually I do not want those 20. I just want the first 19. But if you also remember right, the first one was a little shaky. So I decided I didn't want those. So I'm just going to take from 3 to 19, add those. And they got added down to the section under no filter. All right, so then other things I want to show you is calibration, exposure, tolerance. So if I had, all of these are at 300 seconds. If I had some at 240 seconds, some at 180 seconds, and I did 3 different ones of those, I would have to either have a different dark for each one, and I could easily add that, or have a tolerance for the 2 minutes of difference in time. So that is what that tolerance exposure is. That's all that it is. I leave everything else on default. I do not turn on auto crop. That is on by default. I do turn it off. I figure if I'm going to crop it, I'm going to crop it where I want. I'm not going to just take off little edges. And that's all the auto crop does. So my calibration, it's showing me I'm going to have 3 calibrations. I'm going to have 1 dark, and I have 26, 25, and 22 frames to work with. And then my post calibration will be just cleaning things up like that. Let's go ahead. If you remember, I always work at C temp. And C temp, let's make sure there's nothing in there. Oh, I have stuff in there. So I want to take those out, highlight them and hit Shift Delete. I do a permanent delete because once they're gone, I don't need them. If you remember on my other videos, I move everything to final images after I'm done with them. So that way they're there. And there's all of them. I just save them as a JPEG. Some of them I'll save if I want to do other stuff with them later. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit run. The time right now is 10 p.m. at night. By the way, it's raining, so it's picked a good night to do this. The time's 10 p.m. So let's see how long this is going to take. Hit continue here. It's always going to show you if you have something wrong here. It's going to show you. It actually will show you how much hard drive space you need and what you have available. To continue, and again, it's going to make a separate image for each one I have, each filter that I'm using, 2 filters and a non-filter. All right, I'm pausing now. All right, it is 10:08, so that took 10:09. It took 9 minutes to do all of this. So as you can see, it started with 26 frames that were the C1 filter, which is the HA. It took 25 frames of the C2 filter, which is the SII, and then I had 22 filters that are frames that had no filter on at all. As you can see, we did good. We had 1 bad frame. I realized after I got started that I forgot to take out the 2 bad images that were in one of them, and I don't remember where, even though I know I took the ones out of this one, and those were the ones that were really bad. 10 images did not work with the C2 filter. Okay, so something was wrong with 10 frames. If you remember when we were looking at Blink, they didn't seem like they were real bright. I got a feeling that's what it was. But I did get all my ones that were without, and I got all my ones with the HA. So I have 15 there, so not quite equal like I was hoping for, but good enough. And then local normalization, everything worked, and it plate solved. Okay, that's important that it plate solved. If it didn't plate solve, I'm going to go over with you on how to plate solve using image solver up here. And I think we're good. So I'm going to hit done. Okay, it always gives you this. I don't care to save this. I never do. And now it always opens back up. I usually just hit exit and reset it up when I redo my image. Now, when we reopen this, this is what it's talking about. I'm only going to have the 3 images. I don't have the light. And when I select all 3 to open, notice only the 3 images open. I'm not getting the low and the high because I told it not to do that. So let's see what we have. We can either click on that one again, or we can go here and stretch it. This is the one without filter. Very ugly. What I failed to tell you, and maybe I did, I'm behind a house that's a convalescing home, and some of the nurses like to turn the lights on. And the night that I was doing this, the lights were on in the back. So I got a feeling we will not be using this at all. Now let's see how this one looks. All right, so that one's not too bad. That was our C2 filter, which is the SII, and our C1 filter. Now notice the blur. I don't know if you noticed the blur in both of those. Whoops. I don't think we'll be using that one at all. Notice the blur in both of those, but we're going to get rid of the blur on our next video. All right, so let me minimize those guys. All right, so that's how to use weighted batch balance. In our next video, I'll be showing you how to get rid of the blur. I'll be using BlurXTerminator, NoiseXTerminator, and just kind of cleaning up the image before we stretch it. All right, once again, I'm Ken. Just like you, I'm a modern astronomer. Thank you for watching.